English for movie lovers. Deeper conversations. Introduction. Do you remember that feeling? The lights go down, the screen lights up, and suddenly you are somewhere else. Whether it's a scary story, a love story, or a story about space, movies and TV shows are amazing at pulling us in. They make us feel things and connect us to different worlds. They let us get away, laugh, cry, and sometimes see things in a new way. But do you ever wish you could say more than "I liked it" or "it was good"? Do you want to know why a scene was so strong, or what made a person in the story so interesting? This book will show you how to enjoy movies and TV shows more. We think that with the right words, you can go from just watching to really understanding and talking about the movies and shows you love. What's the secret? It's learning words for media. Think of it like building a box of words just for talking about movies and TV. A chef needs words to talk about tastes, and a musician needs words to talk about music. You need the right words to get the most out of watching. We are not just talking about regular English. We are looking at the special words that people who make movies, critics, and fans use. They use these words to talk about everything, from how a story changes to how an actor's eye moves. This is not just about knowing more words. It's about having better talks. It's about sharing what you think, understanding what others think, and making real friendships with people who love movies too. We will give you the words to talk about stories, how they start, how they build excitement, the big moments, and how they end. Have you ever wanted to talk about a red herring that tricked you, or a plot twist that surprised you, and sound sure of yourself? We will help you. The people and stories are very important. We will learn words to talk about what they think inside, how they change during the story, their arc, and how they get along with others. You will learn to tell the difference between the main person in the story, the protagonist, and the one who is against them, the antagonist. You can also learn about how a character's journey unfolds. Movies are seen, not just heard. We will learn the words for how they are filmed and put together. You will understand words like close-up for a face or long shot for a wide view. You will see how these choices change how you feel and what the movie is saying. We will even talk about sounds and music. Besides the technical parts, we will help you say how you feel and what you think about the movie. You can learn to say a movie is thought-provoking, visually stunning, emotionally resonant, or predictable, and be clear about it. The more you understand, the more you will like it. You will find new details in movies you thought you knew well. You won't be stuck for words anymore. You can say what you think clearly and have interesting talks with friends, family, and people online. Sharing your love for movies is a great way to connect with others. You will find things you have in common and build friendships through your shared interests. Movies are a big part of our world. Understanding the language of movies helps you be more a part of the talks about culture. In the next parts, we will build your media words step by step, with real examples and fun practice. So, get ready to start watching on a whole new level. Let's begin to have those deeper talks together. 1. Learning English with movies and TV. Watching movies and TV shows is fun. We love getting lost in stories, meeting people on screen, and seeing nice pictures. But this hobby can also help you learn and get better at English. It's learning by enjoying, not like hard school lessons. When you watch a movie, your eyes see and your ears hear the story and how people talk. This helps you understand new English words. This is called media vocabulary enhancement. It's like finding a secret key to understand more and talk about movies in a better way. Imagine watching a sci-fi movie with strange machines. A character had to fix important equipment. The words used were fast, like calibrate, interface, and overload. At first, I knew something was broken. Then, I paused the movie and looked up the words. Calibrate meant to adjust something carefully. Interface was how machines talks to each other. Overload meant too much power. The scene made much more sense. I understood why it was hard for the character and the risk they took. It wasn't just fixing, it was a tense moment. I realized learning these movie words wasn't just about knowing more words. It was about understanding the story and the choices filmmakers made. This was media vocabulary enhancement working. So, how do movies and TV help us learn English? First, they are like natural language labs. When you see a character look scared and whisper, "I think we're being followed," you understand followed means someone is going after you. The acting, music, and setting help you guess the meaning. This is easier and more fun than looking at word lists. Second, there's special vocabulary for understanding movies better. Words that describe the story itself, like a plot twist, an unexpected change, or a flashback showing something from the past. Knowing these words helps you understand how the story is told, not just what happened. This is a big part of media vocabulary enhancement. Third, these new words are like bridges to deeper conversations. If you loved a movie, just saying it was good doesn't tell people much. But if you say, "I really liked the cinematography," or "the character development was amazing," you're saying something specific. Cinematography is about how the movie is filmed. Character development is how a character changes. These words open doors to real talks with other fans. Finally, using movies to learn makes you an active participant. You start looking for new words and listening for them. You might pause to write down an interesting word. You're a learner, not just a watcher. You're turning free time into a chance to grow. This active learning is the heart of media vocabulary enhancement. Let's think about the kinds of English words we learn from movies and TV. One big group is words that describe action and plot. Movies have lots of things happening. We learn words like chase, when someone runs after someone else; escape, when someone gets away from danger; confront, when two characters face each other; reveal, when a secret is shown; unfold, when a story slowly becomes clear. These words help us talk about what happens and how the story moves forward. Then there are words for characters and their feelings. Movies are about people and what they do and feel. We learn words like protagonist, the main character, the hero; antagonist, the character against the hero, the villain; sidekick, a friend who helps the main character; redemption, when a character who did bad things tries to become good again; naive, when a character is new and doesn't understand things well, often innocent; brooding, when a character is quiet, thoughtful, and a bit sad or angry. Knowing these words helps us understand the people and stories and why they act. We also learn words about the look and feel of a movie, which is part of filmmaking. This is where media vocabulary enhancement helps us appreciate the craft. Cinematography, the visual part, how the camera is used, the lighting. Words like close-up, a shot of a face; wide shot, showing a lot of the scene; lighting, how bright or dark it is; and color palette, the main colors used. Sound design, the sounds in the movie. Words like soundtrack, the music; sound effects like a door slamming; and dialogue, what characters say. Even silence can be powerful. Editing, how shots and scenes are put together. Words like cut, when one shot ends and another begins; transition, how one scene moves to the next; and pacing, how fast or slow the movie feels. Why is this context so helpful compared to flashcards? Learning chase from a flashcard is okay. But watching a movie with a fast car chase, loud music, and shaking cameras makes the word chase stick in your mind forever. The visuals, acting, and sound give you a full understanding, not just a definition. When a movie uses a flashback, you see the scene change, maybe the colors shift, and you see a younger character telling a story from the past. Your brain connects the visuals, voice, and new information to understand what a flashback is. This makes the word memorable and useful. By watching, you experience words in action. You see how they are used in real sentences, situations, and emotions. This media vocabulary enhancement is natural, intuitive, and connected to the story you enjoy. This process helps us go from understanding what is happening on screen to understanding why it matters. It's the difference between saying, "the hero won," and saying, "the protagonist's journey towards redemption was truly earned," especially after the climax where he had to confront his past mistakes. The second sentence uses specific words to explain the character's struggle and growth. This active engagement is key. When you learn these words, you're not just watching. You're becoming a more informed viewer. You're turning movie time into a learning experience. You're building your media vocabulary enhancement with every scene. Now that we understand why movies and TV are powerful learning tools, let's look at the specific kinds of words that will help you discuss plots, characters, and filmmaking with confidence. 2. Talking about plots and characters, movies are like wonderful stories that we see and hear. Sometimes, when we watch a movie, we feel a lot. We laugh, we cry, we get excited. But when we want to tell a friend about it, the right words are hard to find. Learning a few English words about movies helps a lot. It's like getting a special tool to talk better about the stories we love. Think about your favorite movie. What happened in it? Who were the main people? We usually know these things, but using special English words helps us explain them better. This helps us understand the movie more and share our thoughts. Talking about stories and people, let's talk about the story, the plot. A plot is just what happens in a movie, from start to finish. Movies don't just show things randomly. The story is built in a certain way. Knowing some words for these parts helps us talk about why a story is exciting or maybe a bit slow. Think about the start of the story. Something happens that makes everything begin, right? This is often called the spark. It's the event that makes the main person do something or face a problem. For example, in superhero movies, the spark is when the hero gets their powers or when a big danger shows up. Without this spark, the story would not start. After the spark, the story usually starts to grow. This is the building up. Things get more complex, the person faces more problems, and the feeling of worry grows. Think of it like climbing a hill. Each step up is part of the building up, taking you closer to the top. The person might try to fix a problem, but fail or find a new, bigger problem. This makes us wonder what will happen next. Then comes the most exciting part, the biggest moment. This is the highest point of the story, the moment of most worry or feeling. It's usually when the main person faces the biggest problem or the main enemy. It's the big fight, the moment we waited for. After the biggest moment, things start to get calm. This is the calming down. The main problem is solved, and we see what happened because of the biggest moment. It's like walking down the hill after reaching the top. Finally, we have the end. This is the end of the story where everything is finished. The main problems are solved, and we see what happens to the people after everything is done. Sometimes, the story ends with a surprise. This is a surprise ending. It's when the movie surprises you with something unexpected at the very end, making you think again about what you thought you knew. Movies also use ways to show things that happened before the main story. When the movie shows a scene from the past, it's called a look back. This is often used to explain a person's past or why they are the way they are. The opposite is hinting. This is when the movie gives clues about something that will happen later in the story. It's like a small clue the movie maker leaves for you, which you might only see when you watch the movie a second time. Understanding these story words helps us talk about why a story works. If a movie story feels weak, maybe the spark wasn't strong enough or the building up took too long. If the biggest moment was great, we can say, "Wow, the biggest moment of that movie was so strong." Or if a story felt easy to guess, we might say, "I knew that surprise ending would happen." These words help us say exactly how we feel about the story's path. Now, let's talk about the people in the movie, the characters. Characters are the heart of any story. They are the ones we cheer for, the ones we don't like, and the ones we learn from. The most important character is usually the main person. This is the main character, the one whose story we follow. They are usually the one who faces the main problem. Then there's the opposite person. This is the character or force that is against the main person, creating the main problem. Sometimes the opposite person is a bad person, a bad guy, but not always. The opposite person can be nature, the way people live, or even a person's own inner worries. We also have helper characters. These are characters who are not the main focus, but have important parts in the story. They might help the main person, create problems, or make the world feel more real. Sometimes a character is a bit tricky. They might do bad things, but we still feel for them or understand why they do them. This kind of character is often called a not quite hero. They are not a perfect hero, but we might still follow their story. When we talk about characters, we don't just want to say if they are good or bad. We want to say who they are. Are they many-sided? This means they have many different parts to their personality, not just one simple thing. They might want to do good things, but make bad choices, or seem tough, but be kind inside. Do you feel you understand them? This means you can understand their feelings or what they are going through, even if you haven't had the same thing happen to you. We might say, "I felt I understood the main person because she was also trying to find her place." Characters can also have faults. This is important. Most interesting characters are not perfect. They have weaknesses, make mistakes, and have things they need to learn. This makes them feel more real. A character might be charming, meaning they have a friendly and nice personality that people like. Or they could be mysterious, which means they are hard to understand. What makes a character do what they do? Their reasons. A character might be determined, meaning they have a strong wish or goal that makes them move forward. They might be torn, meaning they are pulled between different wishes, duties, or beliefs. For example, a soldier might be determined to protect their country, but torn about the orders they get. Using these words helps us show what the characters are like. Instead of just saying the main guy was good, we can say, the main person was a person with many faults, but was very charming, with a strong need to protect his family. This tells us much more. The most interesting movies are those where the story and the characters work together perfectly. The characters' actions move the story forward, and the events of the story change and shape the characters. This is where learning English words for movies really helps, letting us connect these two important parts of storytelling. You can talk about how a character's choices affect the story. For example, you might say, the main person's choice at the biggest moment was brave, but it led to a difficult calming down. Or you could talk about how the story shows who a character truly is. The opposite person's reasons were only shown through a series of looks back, which made them seem even sadder. When a character faces a hard situation in the story, it often makes them grow or change. We can describe this by saying, the problems during the building up really made the main person a stronger person. When we can talk about both the story and the characters, our talks become better. We can explain why we liked a movie. Maybe the story was exciting and kept us watching closely. We can say the story was very well put together, with constant building up that led to a surprising biggest moment. Or maybe we felt close to a character. We might share, I really felt close to the main person, her struggles felt very real, and I admired how she kept going. It's great to go beyond simple thoughts like it was good or it was bad. We can use more specific words. If a story felt too easy to guess, we can say, the story was quite easy to guess. If the story moved too slowly, we might say, the speed of the story was a bit slow in the middle. If a movie surprised us in a good way, we can say, I love the unexpected surprise at the end. In the same way, when talking about characters, we can be more descriptive. Instead of I liked the main character, try I really felt close to the main person's journey and found her growth through the story inspiring. If an enemy character was really well written, you could say, the opposite person was very well made, their reasons were complex, making them more than just a simple bad guy. And those smaller characters can add so much. The helper characters added a lot of depth and humor to the story. This ability to describe stories and characters using special English words is a big part of learning movie words. It lets us go from just watching a movie to truly understanding and talking about its art. It's about liking the skill that goes into building a strong story and creating real people in it. Think about a time you watched a movie with someone who understood movies very well. They might have used words like spark or described a character as torn. Suddenly, the movie felt different, didn't it? You saw the different parts, the choices the movie makers made. That's the power of words. It opens up a new way of seeing and talking about the stories that entertain and move us. So, next time you watch a movie, try to notice these parts. What is the spark? How does the building up create worry? Who is the main person, and what are their reasons? Are they many-sided or have faults? As you start using these words, you'll find your talks about movies becoming much more interesting and pleasing. It's a trip of finding out, both in the movies themselves and in how you share your experiences with others. Now that we can talk well about the what and the who of a movie, let's look at how the way it looks helps tell the story and how we feel. 3. Discussing cinematography. Have you ever watched a movie and just felt something? Maybe a scene made your heart race, or another made you feel a quiet sadness. Sometimes, it's not just the story or the actors. It's how the movie looks. The way the camera moves, the light, the colors, all of it works together to tell the story without using many words. This is called cinematography, and learning a few English words about it can make watching movies so much more exciting. Think about it. When you just say a movie looked good, it's like saying a book was good to read. It's true, but it doesn't really tell anyone why. What made it good? Was it the bright, happy colors? Or maybe the dark, shadowy corners? Learning the language of cinematography means you can go from saying it looked good to explaining exactly what made it special. This is a big part of media vocabulary enhancement, giving you the power to understand and talk about movies in a deeper, more meaningful way. It's about moving from just seeing to truly observing and appreciating the art. Let's start with how the camera itself is used. The way the camera is placed and how it moves can change how we feel about what we're seeing. When the camera is very, very close to someone's face, showing just their eyes and mouth, we call that a close-up. This shot is amazing for showing strong feelings. If a character is crying, a close-up lets us see every tear. If they're angry, we see the tension in their jaw. It makes us feel like we're right there with them, sharing their feelings. Think about a scene where someone receives shocking news. A close-up on their face tells us everything. Their surprise, their fear, their confusion, without them needing to say a single word. It pulls us into their inner world. On the other hand, a wide shot shows a lot of the scene, often including the surroundings. We see the characters, but they might look small against a big landscape or a busy city. This shot is great for showing where we are, or how small a character might feel in a big, overwhelming world. Imagine a lone astronaut standing on a vast, empty planet. A wide shot emphasizes their loneliness and the huge, silent space around them. It makes us feel the loneliness and the size of their journey. A medium shot is somewhere in between. It usually shows a person from about their waist up. This is a very common shot because it feels natural, like we're standing and talking to someone. We can see their body language and some of their facial expressions, which helps us understand their mood and how they are interacting with others. It's a balanced shot, good for conversations and everyday actions. Now, let's talk about where the camera is positioned in relation to the subject. If the camera is pointing up at someone, it's a low-angle shot. This can make the person look powerful, important, or even a little scary. Think of a superhero looking down at the city from a tall building, or a villain standing over the hero. The low angle makes them seem bigger and more in charge. It can make us feel a sense of awe or even fear. When the camera is pointing down at someone, it's a high-angle shot. This can make the person look small, weak, or vulnerable. Imagine a character lost in a crowd, with the camera looking down on them. They seem insignificant, swallowed by the world around them. This shot can create a feeling of sadness or helplessness. Sometimes, the camera doesn't just stay in one place. A dolly shot happens when the camera is placed on a wheeled platform called a dolly and moves forward, backward, or sideways. This can create a smooth, gliding movement. It can make us feel like we are moving with the characters, perhaps exploring a new place or following someone as they walk. A tracking shot is similar, where the camera follows a subject as they move, keeping them in the frame. This can make us feel closely connected to the character's journey, moving with them through their experiences. But it's not just where the camera is or how it moves. The lighting is like painting with light and shadow, and it has a huge impact on how we feel. When a scene is very bright, with not many dark shadows, we call it high-key lighting. This is often used in comedies, musicals, or happy family movies. Everything looks clear and cheerful. It can make us feel energetic and optimistic. Think of a scene in a bright, sunny park where characters are laughing and dancing. The bright light matches their happy mood. On the other hand, low-key lighting uses a lot of dark shadows and strong contrast between light and dark. This is common in thrillers, horror movies, or serious dramas. The darkness can create a sense of mystery, danger, or sadness. Shadows can hide things, making us feel uneasy or curious about what might be lurking. Imagine a detective walking down a dark, rainy street, with only a single lamppost lighting the way. The low-key lighting builds suspense and makes us wonder what will happen next. It's like the darkness itself is a character in the scene. Color is another powerful tool. The color palette of a movie, the main colors used throughout, can tell us a lot. Some movies use a monochromatic palette, meaning they mostly use different shades of one color, like blue or gray. This can create a very specific mood. A lot of blue might feel cold and sad, while a lot of warm colors like red or orange could feel passionate or energetic. Other movies use very bright, strong colors that stand out. These are called saturated colors. Think of a vibrant, cartoonish movie where everything pops with intense reds, blues, and yellows. These colors can make a movie feel exciting and lively, or they can be used to highlight something important. When colors are faded and less intense, we call them desaturated colors. This can make a movie feel more serious, realistic, or even a bit bleak. A film set in a war-torn country might use desaturated colors to show the harshness and sadness of the situation. The way elements are arranged within the frame, the composition, also guides our eyes and feelings. Even without knowing fancy terms, you can notice when something feels balanced or unbalanced. Filmmakers often use ideas like the rule of thirds, where they imagine dividing the screen into 9 equal parts with 2 horizontal and 2 vertical lines. Placing important things where these lines cross can make the image more interesting and pleasing to look at. Think about how a character might be placed off to one side of the screen, looking into the empty space. This can create a feeling of anticipation or hint at something yet to come. Let's think about how these visual elements actually help tell the story. I remember watching a movie a few years ago. It was a drama about a woman who felt very alone. At first, I didn't really connect with her. The scenes felt okay, but then I started noticing things. In many shots, she was placed in the very corner of the frame with a lot of empty space around her. The camera often stayed still, showing her from far away even when she was talking. The colors were mostly cool blues and grays. Suddenly, I understood. The empty space in the frame wasn't just empty, it was showing her emptiness. The distance of the camera wasn't just showing her, it was showing how distant she felt from everyone else. The cool colors weren't just colors, they were reflecting her cold, lonely feelings. Learning these simple terms helped me see what the filmmaker was trying to say with the visuals. It changed the movie from just a story I was watching to an experience I was feeling on a deeper level. This is the power of media vocabulary enhancement in action. Consider a fast-paced action scene. The director will often use quick cuts, meaning the shots change very rapidly. This creates a sense of urgency and excitement. The camera might also move quickly, perhaps with a tracking shot following a character as they run. All these techniques work together to make you feel like you're in the middle of the action, your heart pounding. Along with the quick cuts. Now, let's think about a quiet, emotional moment. The director might use a long, slow dolly shot that moves closer and closer to a character's face, lingering on their expression. The lighting might be soft and warm, and the colors might be gentle. This slow pace and gentle visuals allow us to really connect with the character's emotions, to feel their sadness or their joy with them. The camera isn't just showing us what's happening, it's guiding us to feel it. So, when you watch a movie or a TV show next time, try to ask yourself these questions. When you watch a scene, what specific camera angle or shot choice did the director use, and what effect did it have on your perception of the characters or the situation? For example, if a character is being interviewed, are they shown in a close-up, making them seem open and honest? Or are they shown in a high-angle shot, making them seem vulnerable and perhaps not in control? Does a low-angle shot of a boss make them seem intimidating and powerful? Does a wide shot of a city street make it feel exciting and full of life, or overwhelming and dangerous? Pay attention to how these choices make you feel about the people and places on screen. And how did the lighting and color in a particular film contribute to the overall mood or atmosphere? And how did it make you feel? Did the dark, shadowy lighting in a thriller make you feel nervous and on edge? Did the bright, cheerful colors in a romantic comedy make you feel happy and lighthearted? Did the use of only blue and gray tones in a sad movie make you feel the characters' despair more deeply? Think about a scene that really stuck with you visually. What were the dominant colors? Was the lighting bright or dim? How did those choices make you feel inside? Did they make you feel scared, happy, sad, or curious? Learning these terms isn't about memorizing a dictionary. It's about unlocking a new way to experience movies. It's about understanding the artist's intention and appreciating the craft that goes into making these stories come alive. It's a key part of media vocabulary enhancement, giving you the tools to have richer conversations and a deeper connection with the films you love. Now that we can discuss how movies look, let's turn our attention to the heart of any story, its structure, and how the plot unfolds. Understanding the building blocks of a narrative will allow us to engage even more deeply with the films we love. 4. Making movie conversations fun. It's funny, right? We spend so much time watching movies, getting lost in different worlds, feeling all sorts of feelings. Then, when someone asks, "So, what did you think?" we often just say it was good. Or maybe, yeah, it was okay. It's like looking at a beautiful, complicated painting and just saying it has colors. We know there's so much more, but the words don't come out. This is a feeling many people have, and it's okay. Learning new words, or even new ways to talk about things we like, can be hard. But the great thing is, when we start to find the right English words, something wonderful happens. Our movie talks change from short, polite sentences to fun, exciting adventures of their own. Think about it. When you see a movie that really grabs you, it's not just one thing. Maybe the story kept you guessing until the very end. Perhaps the main person felt so real you wanted to be their friend. Or maybe the way the camera moved and the music played made you feel a little shiver. These are all special things that make a movie great. But if we only have a few general words, like good or bad, it's hard to share all those wonderful details. This is where media vocabulary enhancement comes in. It's about learning the specific English words and phrases that help us talk about movies and TV shows in a better way. It's not just knowing more words. It's opening up a deeper understanding and a much more fun experience. Let's look at a common situation. Imagine you watched a film with a friend. Afterwards, they ask, "What did you think of the acting?" If you don't know many words, you might say, "The main actor was good." That's a start, but it doesn't tell your friend much. Now, what if you learn some new words? Instead of just good, you could say, "The actor showed a nuanced performance." What does nuanced mean? It means the actor showed many different, small feelings. They didn't just play one note. They played a whole song. Or you could say, her portrayal felt very authentic. Authentic means it felt real, like you were watching a real person, not just an actor pretending. Suddenly, your simple good has become a detailed thought. Your friend might then say, "Oh yes, I know what you mean. I felt like I really understood her character's struggles." The talk just became more interesting, more helpful, and much more fun. You went from a simple sentence to a shared thought, and that's the main idea of media vocabulary enhancement, turning quiet watching into active, interesting talking. This way of learning specific movie words helps us find those exciting aha moments in our conversations. Movies and TV shows have many clever tricks and hidden details that creators use to tell their stories. When we have the words to point these out, it's like discovering secrets together. Have you ever watched a movie where something happened early on that seemed small, but later it turned out to be a big hint about what was coming? That's called foreshadowing. Learning that word lets you say, "Wow, the director used foreshadowing perfectly here." And you can then talk about how that hint made the later surprise even more amazing or satisfying. Or maybe there was a character who seemed guilty, but was actually innocent, and the movie tried to trick you into thinking they were the bad person. That trick is often called a red herring. If you know this word, you can share, "I thought for sure the quiet neighbor was the bad guy, but that was just a red herring to distract us." These moments of seeing the filmmaker's skill are very rewarding. They make us feel smarter, more connected to the story, and more interested in the people we're talking to. It's like having a secret language that only true movie fans know, and learning these words is your way to join that group. More than just understanding how a movie works, learning these words is great for making connections with other people. When you can say what you think and feel clearly, and when you can understand what others are saying more exactly, you build a stronger bond. It's not just about agreeing, it's about sharing your own view and liking theirs. Even friendly arguments are more interesting when you have the words to discuss them well. Imagine you and a friend have very different ideas about a movie's ending. Without the right words, the talk might go in circles. I hated it. No, I loved it. But with media vocabulary enhancement, you can go deeper. You might say, I found the ending a little disappointing because the character development didn't really support that final choice. While your friend might say, I saw it differently. I felt the sudden ending was a planned choice to show how ambiguous their situation was. Suddenly, you're not just saying what you think. You're talking about why you think that, using words that show you thought about the film carefully. This kind of talk is not only more fun, but also builds respect and understanding between people. It changes watching movies from a quiet activity into a shared, social experience that can lead to lasting friendships and a feeling of belonging. The real happiness, I believe, comes from appreciating the pure skill and detail that goes into making movies and TV shows. These are not simple things to make. They are rich works of art with many layers. Learning the language to describe these layers, the mise en scene, which is everything you see on the screen, the pacing of the story, the cleverness of the dialogue, or how the score makes you feel, lets us enjoy those details. It's like going from looking at a photo to understanding how the photographer took it, the light used, and the feeling captured. For example, instead of just saying, the music was nice, you can make your talk better. You might say, the evocative score really helped build the feeling of worry in that scene. Evocative means it brought strong feelings or memories to mind. Or you could talk about the sound design, which includes all the noises in the movie, not just the music. The way they used the sound of the wind and distant sirens in the background added so much to the film's spooky feeling. This kind of observation shows you're not just watching, you're experiencing the film in many ways, and sharing these thoughts makes the talk better for everyone. It's about going past the surface and looking at the beautiful details that filmmakers carefully create. So, what are the common problems that stop our movie chats from being more exciting? Sometimes, it's not just about not knowing English words. It's about feeling shy or worrying we might say something wrong. We might think our opinion isn't smart enough compared to others. This is where learning specific words helps a lot. When you have the right words, you feel more sure of yourself. You have tools to say what you mean clearly. You are less likely to feel lost or embarrassed. It's like having a map when you're exploring a new city. You feel more in control and more able to enjoy the sights. Let me tell you a small story. Not too long ago, I was talking with a friend, let's call her Mia, about a science fiction movie. Maya is very smart, but she was still learning English. She loved the movie, but when I asked her what she liked, she just said, it was exciting. I knew she felt more than that, but she couldn't find the words. I tried to help her, asking about the story, the special effects, the actors. She just kept saying, it was exciting, very exciting. I felt a bit stuck, and I could see she did too. Later, we were looking up some movie terms online, and we found the word world building. This is the term for how a movie or show creates a believable and detailed fictional world. When Mia saw this, her eyes lit up. She said yes. The world building was amazing. I felt like I was really there on that planet. From that moment on, our talk about the movie changed. We started talking about how the clothes, the made-up languages, the city designs all helped make that fictional world feel so real. Maya was no longer just saying exciting. She was explaining exactly why it was exciting, using a precise word that captured her feeling perfectly. It wasn't just about learning a word. It was about giving her the power to share her whole experience and making our talk a true shared discovery. This power to explain is very important for building confidence. And you can say, I really liked the cinematography in this film. The way they used light and shadow was beautiful. You feel more in charge of the conversation. You're not just reacting, you're thinking about it and liking it. This confidence helps in social situations too. You feel more comfortable joining groups talking about movies, more willing to share your thoughts, and more able to understand the small details in what others are saying. It changes movie discussions from something you might avoid into something you look forward to. It's a way to connect with people who like the same things, to make new friends, and to feel like you are a part of a group. The joy of looking at movies with more specific words is about appreciating the skill. Making movies is a complicated art. Think about the pacing of a film, how fast or slow the story moves. A slow pacing might be used to build worry, while a fast pacing can create excitement. Or think about the dialogue. Is it clever and quick? Is it natural and real? Or is it like poetry and full of meaning? Learning to see and talk about these parts lets us go beyond just liking or disliking a film. We can explain why we feel the way we do. We can say, the dialogue felt a little too direct for me, or I loved how the slow pacing really let the feeling of the scene sink in. These specific thoughts make our opinions more thoughtful and our conversations more interesting. In the end, media vocabulary enhancement is about making the whole experience of enjoying movies and TV shows more satisfying. It's about going from being someone who just watches to someone who is actively part of the movie world. It's about having talks that are not just fun, but also have meaning, that build connections, and that make us appreciate the art form we love more. It's about changing those simple it was good moments into detailed explorations that leave you and your friends feeling more connected and more knowledgeable. So, we've seen how the right words can change a simple chat about a movie into a truly fun and connecting experience. But where do we start to get this powerful vocabulary? The next part will look at the important basics, starting with the very center of every story, the plot. Conclusion. Remember that feeling? The one you get when a movie ends and you have so many thoughts and ideas? You want to talk about it. In this book, we went on a trip together. We didn't just watch movies, we learned to understand them, feel them, and most importantly, talk about them with more confidence. We wanted to go beyond just saying I liked it or I didn't like it. We wanted to have deeper conversations. And we learned that the key to these better talks is the words we use to describe what we see on the screen. We learned how stories are told. We learned the words to talk about a good story, from the start that makes you want to watch, to the build-up, the exciting middle, and the ending that makes sense. We can now talk about hints of what's to come, surprising turns in the story, and how the story flows from beginning to end. We also looked at the most important part of any movie, its people characters. We learned words to describe why they do things, reasons, their weaknesses, how they change during the story, and when an actor is truly great. We can now talk about the main character's journey or the bad guy's complex personality. And what about the beautiful pictures? We learn new words to talk about the camera work, how the scenes are put together, the look of the sets, and the music. We can now say how a certain camera view makes us feel, how the speed of the cuts makes us excited, or how the light creates a certain feeling. This is not just about learning words. It's about getting better at talking about movies by learning the right words. Each new word is a step forward. It helps you see more than just the surface and understand how movies are made. You now have more words to explain the different parts of a movie, to look at the choices the filmmakers made, and to really connect with what you watch. The real fun of this trip is not just learning these things, but using them. Your new words are like tools, ready to be used. Next time you talk about a movie with friends, don't be afraid to use these special words. Instead of saying the end was sad, you could say the movie's ending made me feel sad for a long time. Join online groups, write your thoughts about movies, or share them on social media. When you can explain your thoughts clearly, people will understand you better and find what you say more interesting. Keep a movie notebook. Write down your thoughts and use the words we learned to talk about scenes, people, and ideas. This will help you remember and find new connections. These are not just movie talks anymore. They are becoming deeper conversations, where people share ideas, learn from each other, and become closer through their love of movies. Remember, getting better at talking about movies is not a place you reach, but a journey you keep going on. The more you practice, the easier it gets, and the more you will see the small beauties and complex parts of the movies and shows you love. Stay curious. Watch new movies, try different kinds, and keep noticing the words used to describe them. The world of movies is big and always changing, with many new words to discover. The skills you have learned in this book are useful for more than just watching movies. Being able to look closely, explain clearly, and think about hard ideas is helpful in all parts of your life. By learning to break down stories, understand why people do things, and see the value in artistic choices, you are also becoming better at thinking for yourself. Movies and TV shows are important in our culture. When you can talk about them in a good way, you can connect with others more deeply. You can laugh together, start interesting talks, and build understanding through the stories that move us. This journey is about more than just words. It's about making your life richer. It's about changing from just watching to actively thinking, from watching alone to sharing experiences, and finding new ways to enjoy the art that has amazed people for many years. We hope this book has helped you start a desire to connect more deeply with the stories that shape our world and how we see ourselves and others. So go and do it. Watch, learn, talk, and connect. May your future movie times be full of smart thoughts and truly deeper conversations. The world of movies is waiting for you to share your thoughts.